So the first question we're going to ask you lot is, does rap glorify violence and crime?
I don't know if it glorifies violence so much as the majority of people that are rapping about the violence probably deal with the violence every day. So it's a fair representation.
Yeah, so it's more a representation than a glorification.
People look up to rappers, and then when the rappers are having that experience and talk about the experience, then people will look up to those.
It's like misconceptions, because people can take the lyrics how they want to take it, but if they actually
And that's the whole point of a song.
enough, they would receive it.
Wait, well,
It's not to you whether you would do it or not, but it's not the text itself isn't up for interpretation.
So do you think rap glorifies drugs then?
It depends on how you've been brought up. Like, it's like me saying, oh, I've seen on a locker MD. Yeah, I'm just going to start taking it because it glorifies it. No, it's about you as a person. If you want to take drugs...
Yeah, and I think also, right, the reason people start doing drugs is way more influence from their peers than actual influence from songs themselves. You know what I mean? Like, if your friends are doing drugs, you're more likely to do drugs. If you hear a song about smoking weed, you're more likely to smoke weed because your friends do than because you heard it in a song.
Would you say drugs are bad?
No. We're in like small bursts. Like if you have like a big amount, it's not very good.
Drugs are bad.
I think it depends on circumstances, not the drug itself.
Which drugs do you think are bad, for example?
Heroin and meth.
Meth. Heroin and meth, the only two.
But only depending on the circumstances of which you take them in, because it's not, like say, if you're addicted to cocaine, then it's bad for you. But if you're not addicted and you're doing it every few nights, then that's a circumstance and it's not bad.
I think the way that people access drugs is the problem, not so much the drug itself, because I feel like if drugs were safely accessible to people, like how weed has been legalized, you can go to like vendors and blah blah blah, I think that's a lot safer. I think the reason, like, you don't know what's in your pill that you get off like a drug dealer on the street, do you? Then that causes problems.
So you think that drugs should be legalized to then, like certain drugs, well, most drugs should be legalized.
People could access them safely.
My take on this is that it's not a natural thing. Your body is not supposed to be doing whatever your body is not supposed to be moving like that realistically. Like it might, you might have, it might give you like a happy, like whatever, but it's just not natural and it's going to mess up your, like, I don't know. To be fair, I actually don't know, but I just feel like it's just like, it's not natural. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's my opinion though. I do not think that people who take drugs are bad people, because I do think it depends on how you've been brought up, your circumstances. Some people might be better on drugs, like, do you know what I mean? So, some people are boring when they're not on drugs.
I think if drugs... I understand drugs aren't like something to show off about doing. Like, it's not something to be proud of. However, if they were legalized, I feel like it would take away the stigma of like, oh my gosh, is against the law, I'm doing something that's like I'm not allowed to do. Like so
do you think the police would like be able to put their funding on like helping these people instead of putting them like as criminals in prisons?
Definitely. I feel like the police do need to tackle like the real criminals, you know what I mean? Like someone taking drugs, oh no. Someone raping someone, oh well, we don't have any evidence, so we're just gonna let go of the case. Like, I feel like the police don't actually tackle real criminals, and it's so easy to like get on like the drug users. Obviously, like, it is against the law, so I'm not saying that, but like there are bigger problems in this world to like imprison someone over like taking drugs when it was their own decision and they're not hurting anybody else. Like, if you do like force drugs down someone's body, like that should be illegal.
There's 7 years in prison if you're caught dealing ecstasy. But there are women and men who say and openly admit to being raped and give evidence, and nothing happens to them. No prison time, nothing. 7 years for taking ecstasy versus being raped, and then rapists not being punished for that.
I think also if you legalise the drugs, you could probably use that tax revenue to pay for the investigations of this other stuff that you've been saying, like rape cases and murder cases. That could be used to fund it and stuff.
But no, that tax revenue would also be used though for the people that are going to be hospitalised from taking this drug. So it's not going to go directly to a better cause because it's more accessible. More people will take it and abuse it as well. So I don't think it would actually they won't get any money from legalising it. Personally, I feel like the money will just go to something else.
Vendors will.
What's vendors?
Yeah,
So the vendors that sell the drugs, it's just like reproducing like capitalism basically at the end of the day, because it's businesses profiting off making drugs legal.
Yeah.
So it'll just increase like everything. Like it'll probably increase like tourism and everything, which is pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, people go to
Yeah, think about
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not legal there anymore.
Same with Portugal. They've decriminalised all drugs in Portugal. Like you can do
That's
heroin
worked pretty
without
well.
being that deep.
Portugal has worked pretty well.
And the crime rate is shot right down, mainly because all the people that commit crime are all addicted to heroin and dying from it, probably. But
You might overdose in that.
Yeah, so recreational drugs, do you think they should be legalized? If we legalize drugs, then we wouldn't have to put people in prison for them, and we wouldn't have to go and hunt drug dealers. Firstly, because they'd be safer, because they're made by regulated manufacturers, and secondly, because then the money which goes towards stopping drug dealers and all of that can just go towards helping people who are addicted to them.
So then you're not saving any money. You're just, instead of preventing it, you're trying to cure them. But surely it's easier to prevent than to cure.
No, because people still buy it anyway. If people really want it, they can just get it off the black market.
Yeah, but if it's legalized, then it's so much easier, and it's just it's just bad. It just is. Do you know what I mean? It's not even an argument. Drugs are bad.
Yeah, but the social view of drugs changes. If drugs were legalized, then it wouldn't be seen as a crime. It'd just be seen as something which is maybe looked down upon. Instead of you're a criminal, you're a crackhead. It's you're doing something which is ruining you. You've got a problem, obviously.
Yeah. So why should that be allowed? Why should that be normalized?
In the first place, it's probably more of a social struggle, for the individual people who are doing them, than a thing with doing being a criminal and everything. People don't do them to be a criminal. People just do them to get away.
I agree with that statement. Periods.
Yeah, I think they should.
Do you think they should?
Yeah, why not? It depends.
What's your reasoning?
So if the government provide them, then they'll be good because the government will have tested them, and so it'll
But they're not going to be provided by the government. They're going to be provided by private companies, but regulated sales.
Yeah, but if it's regulated, then it should be fine.
You think?
I think so.
But don't you think more people will get addicted?
As long as people aren't dying, then it's fine.
But people are always going to die of drug overdoses, whether it's prescribed or not.
The thing is, paracetamol. People can overdose paracetamol. How that's publicly available, is it not?